Guys, can you hear my, can you see my screen? If you can see my screen, yeah, just say yes. That'll be great. Perfect, perfect. Okay, so this is going to be slightly different about in the way we are going to approach our problems, right? So I've trained probably, at least, like I said, 5,000, 6,000 members. And one of the most major recurring themes that I see is not pre-framing your mind, right? I mean, you often see some people are more successful than the others, right? It could be, writing programming or relationships or anything like career-wise or, I don't know, sports, whatever, right? So I saw some people more successful than the others. And the same subset I saw again with even the tools I've taught, like deep learning, machine learning, AI, whatever the case might be, big data, crypto, whatever, digital marketing, etc. So I wanted to first dedicate these, few hours to sort of completely, hopefully, inspire you and rewire you. And trust me, this is going to be one of the best things that you've ever heard. Okay, it's coming from a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience, and again, also you have to know that. Uh, this is all distilled into like as probably whatever 20-30 slides, but the idea is to like really transform you. I think it's very important, because if you look at an iceberg, right? So you know what an iceberg is. If you look at an iceberg, the top is only 10-20%, right? That's programming. Those are the tools, tactics, strategy. But beneath that is like a humongous a lot of work, etc. So there's a lot of so the success mindset is very important, right? So 1 second, let me just, housekeeping. Let me just mute. Can everybody just mute yourselves, because I don't want to get like some background noise, etc. Given that these sessions are recorded, and again and again, you guys might want to see it. So this is a little bit about our startup. We are a Microsoft for AI startup, so I have the product company as well, NVIDIA Inception. But let's see what's relevant here, right? So this agenda is going to be very simple, about 8-9 key elements. How to think differently, how do you actually transform yourself, and how do you have a positive mindset. Extremely important. Many of you might think these are cliched. They are not. They are not cliched. Stick to basics. Sticking to basics is very difficult. This is not going to be any regular session like saying, okay, do this tool, do this tool, do this tool, get a job, or do this A, B, C, D, make whatever, $1 million or $500,000 or 100K job, etc. Really, it's about rewiring into the head. Having extremely high standards. Now, what are high standards? We have to know even that, right? Everybody says, okay, shoot for the moon, shoot for the. So extremely high standards. But now, as a kid, or as even an adult or whatever teenager, you're actually often confused. What are high standards? How high is high? It's not like bungee jumping or high jump, right? We look into those, dreaming big, like audacious thinking. So when we are born as kids, all of us want to aim really big. And if you actually talk to a child, he has like a wide eyes. And but where does that go? Where does that go as time progresses? And a little bit about ethics. Very important to set these foundations right in the beginning. Like I said, tools, tactics, you will know it. Whatever the career is, data science, machine learning, again, like I said, crypto, digital marketing, or whatever, right? As the case might be, or whatever your niche is. And productivity, extremely important about productivity. We're going to talk about things like, smartphones have come now, but human beings were miserable. I mean, way back in, I think, 3000 BC, people are getting distracted. So there's something systemic with us that gets distracted, right? We're all getting distracted. We're all spending a lot of energy, but nothing is happening, including, there's nobody spared, even me. How do you measure? How can you improve if you don't measure something, right? So when you're a kid, you remember the times when we used to like, measure our height, and then our mothers would go to the wall and make a scale and all that. So you need to, but those things stopped, right? How are you measuring your life? Your life is not measured by the job you take, or what salary you're getting. People with high salaries are also miserable, right? So on and so forth. People with sometimes low salaries are much more happier. So how do you measure, right? And then finally, health and diet, extremely important to revet these things. And I hope everybody can hear me now. If you have any issues, let me know. Sorry. Yeah. So first thing is, you know, the number one thing I get a lot of people asking me, you know, students or, you know, homemakers or elders, etc., whatever the case might be, is, you know, the concept of right and wrong, right? So that is evolving constantly, you know. So ever since our childhood, you know, we've been confirming, right? We've been asked to do jobs, work very hard, yet we we see constantly that, you know, we are probably the 95% who are like that. We see 5-10% of people just doing completely different. They're college dropouts, they made it really big, etc. And, you know, all right, so the concept of, you know, right or wrong is evolving. So what do we do about that? I mean, our job right now in this, you know, constantly evolving field is to really get a very good executive sort of sense, like a good gut feeling about what is right and what is wrong, right? So for some people, you know, doing job is great, but you must be absolutely sure about that, because they might not be able to take risks, so on and so forth. For some people, they're in a job but they're miserable and they want to do something in entrepreneurship, you know, they're probably doing it in the night, so on and so forth. Again, you must be really clear that entrepreneurship is the way you want to go. Or some people just do entrepreneurship, right? Again, but my request to you is start thinking differently. Really, really question the status quo, right? Which leads to the second point: challenge the status quo. Yeah, do not accept it. I mean, time and time and time and time, you know, right from our childhood, we've been saying, okay, you know what, march to the tunes of your elders, always do this, always do that, so on and so forth. But don't do that, right? If you feel something is wrong, you know, do something about it, right? Don't just accept it just like that. I'm not saying yell at your elders. I'm not saying, you know, be disobedient. Please listen very carefully to what I'm saying. I'm saying challenge the status quo, right? If something is going wrong, let's say schooling or education or something, then do something about it, right? For instance, um, I'm going to come to my own example in a short while. Think always from first principles, right? Think long term. So everybody wants short term quick results. Everybody's there like that, right? You want to lose weight, you want to get six packs, you want to get a great job. That just simply does, you know, in the next 15 days, 30 days, or you want to make money very, very fast. Every one of us succumbs to that. But there's a famous test called, you know, marshmallow test. It shows that nobody has patience for success, right? So for instance, if I tell you that, you know, being a doctor takes, you know, 5 years, 10 years, and a PhD and a postdoc and whatnot, you'll actually not do it, right? So for instance, a black belt in karate or kickboxing or kung fu, whatever the case might be, takes about, you know, 5, 7, 10 years. No wonder many people actually fall off, right? But reality is that everybody knows it takes lots and lots of patience. So what is a marshmallow test? So there were kids who had a small experiment, and the experiment said that was designed in a way that each kid got one marshmallow right now, and if he did not eat it for about 10 minutes, he got another one, the second marshmallow, right? I think many of you already know that. Now, it suffices to say it was very interesting to see that, you know, out of the 100 kids, around only, I think, 5 to 10 kids, around only 10 kids could not eat it. The rest of the 90 just ate it, right? So that's how the human mind works, the monkey in us. It's very, very difficult. And that actually goes through across the whole spectrum, right? So the 10 kids were observed in the whole of the life, and they saw that they were the ones who became very successful, right? Success means not just money. It means financial, it means health, fitness, it means relationship, it means dealing with parents, everything, right? You cannot be successful in one area and not be successful in other areas. I've seen that it typically is very, very holistic success or no success, right? So my request to you is think very, very differently, right? So let's also challenge our assumptions, right? So, you know, Peter Thiel, the founder of PayPal and, you know, one of the earliest investors of Facebook, said, what is something that you believe to, you know, that is his interview question. What is something you believe to be very, very true that nobody else agrees with you, right? So I'm just making it up, but let's say you were Copernicus, not Copernicus, but I forget the name of the scientist or the great person, you know, way back, who thought, when the whole world thought the earth is flat, he was the only person who said, no, the earth is round, right? There are so many such assumptions that all of us have, right? Some of you may think that, okay, there's no God, you're an atheist, but your mom or your dad or your own brother or sister, nobody's believing in you, right? But there are so many such assumptions. And Earl Nightingale, and we are going to be looking at that a little while later, says that the opposite of courage is not cowardice, but it is conformity, right? So conformity means, if everybody is driving on the right side, you drive on the right side, which is correct. In that case, it's good. But in many cases, thinking about life is not the same, like, right? So yeah, there you go. So what is something that nobody believes? And so have these assumptions, like have these authority questions that are there, and you keep noting down, you keep jotting them down, and you keep thinking about that. Don't just do what 9 on 10 people are doing. If 9 on 10 people are like spitting on the road, don't do that. Not just that, but I'm saying other key assumptions, right? Okay. And thinking differently and seeking the objective truth. So what is objective truth? Let's define objective truth. The objective truth is something like pi equals 3.14, right? So most of the times, truth will be against people's opinions if they don't know the truth, right? Always seek the absolute truth and be okay with challenging others' opinions, right? See, by definition, humans have opinions. And the curse is that it's free, and people easily just throw opinions, right? But always look at the objective truth, search for that. So don't, for instance, when you're reading a paper, try to look at the source of that article or source of those things, and then make a decision if it's important, right? Always have like a scientific first approach to anything. And constantly experiment. So for instance, in this training / internship or whatever, I put this together. I checked first if only giving tools is working. Seems like it was working a little bit, but if I actually motivate people, if I actually try to rewire them head, then it's working a lot more. So I'm trying to constantly change, even with my staff members, with my employees, or with my colleagues or vendors, so on and so forth, right? Constantly trying to iterate what is working, what is not working. And most 9 out of 10 your experiments will fail. It's okay. Failure is the only way to, like this is stepping stone to success. But more importantly, that is the natural way. We've all been trying to get the system, approach the system incorrectly, meaning when you set up for success, the pressure is enormous. Like, oh, I want like a great SAT rank or a great IIT rank or a great job or a great whatever. I need to crack the civils, etc. Those things don't happen. If you say, okay, you know what, take smaller milestones. I need this chapter to be done. I want to finish the assignment. And if it's okay, first time there might be error, or first time things might go wrong. It's okay. Then you fail there. You fail your way to success, right? Always do that. And sometimes the whole world might be against you. Many times the whole world is against you, but just keep pushing for the truth. So for instance, if you're in a chemistry lab, right? So you're a chemist, you're actually experimenting. Remember how, you make speakers and their experiments, you note down those recordings. That's why it's called like a proper lab. And he doesn't care about the whole world, right? He actually only looks at what is the objective truth. Similarly, right? If you need something, have a goal and keep pushing towards that. And if there's like a failure or whatever, it's okay. Just keep pushing towards that. I thought we should watch this video.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Cause I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never crossed a man that didn't deserve it. Me be treated like a punk, you know that's unheard of. You better watch how you're talking and where you're walking, or you and your homies might be lying in chalk. I really hate the trip, but I gotta low. As they croak, I see myself in the pistol smoke. Fool, I'm the kind of G the little homies wanna be like, on my knees in the night, saying prayers in the street light.
Depending on how well you want to do, particularly if you're starting a company, you need to work super hard. When my brother and I were starting our first company, instead of getting an apartment, we just rented a small office and we slept on the couch.
There are American heroes who don't like this idea. Neil Armstrong, Gene Cernan have both testified against commercial spaceflight in the way that you're developing it, and I wonder what you think of that.
I was very sad to see that because those guys are, those guys are heroes of mine, so it's really tough. I wish they would come and visit and see the hardware that we're doing here. And I think that would change their mind.
When critics say you can't do this, your answer to them is,
we've done it.
Encourage you to take risks now, do something bold. You won't regret it. Thank you.
Okay. The idea is really to think big and audaciously. I mean, the guy is already a multi-millionaire back in the day, and still he had to go through so many problems. So at least we feel good as mortals, if we can do our bit, right? So that's pretty much it in terms of, thinking big, seeking your objective truth. Don't think about others. Everybody said that private aircrafts cannot, private missions to the Mars and Moon cannot happen, but that's happening. So, when in doubt, just think about Elon Musk. He had bigger problems, right? So those are experimentations. His fourth launch became successful. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4. So keep pushing, keep having those launch kind of mindset, like a chemist in the lab kind of a mindset. So second thing, like I mentioned on the agenda is, becoming a 2.0 version of yourself. Who you are right now is not capable of achieving success. I mean, this is not to sort of, don't take it personally. I'm not denigrating anybody. What I'm saying is there is actually a very specific mindset that is required for achieving success, right? and this we'll go on the contours of philosophy. When you hold your identity very hard, it becomes very difficult to change yourself. So I am this, I am that, I'm an engineer, or I am a, and I, whatever, I can't do sales, or I am I'm a sales guy, I can't do coding, so on and so forth, right? All these things, they just you know uh, completely cloud your mind. Don't do that. Don't have any attachment to your current identity. See, humans, we've all evolved from monkeys, everything, right? So you do know that your cells are dying every day. So they're also being reborn. So meaning, what I was, for instance, in 2005 is not the same person as me now. Like, of course, I've grown in mindset and all that, but literally also every cell of mine is also changed. So literally, I'm a different person, right? So don't have any attachment to your current identity. If you become attached, it will become your status. So, and you won't grow. Like Bruce Lee also said that, be like water, be fluid. Okay. Second thing is, when you, and we'll come to goal setting in a little bit, a short-term goal and a long-term goal. A short-term goal is something that you want, like whatever the case might be. You need money. Don't say something like, I need money, I'll give you a rupee, a dollar or a rupee. Like, what is it that you want? Like, very, very, very specific. Long-term goal is your 1,000-day plan or a 3-year plan. Like, what does that mean? What does that look like? We're going to write these goal cards as well. And you start working towards that goal, right? And when you keep changing, when you make small baby steps, when you keep shedding, the people around you first will become uncomfortable, right? Because, they will not understand, and they will start losing the previous you, and they will try to put you back into yourself. So I've experienced this time and again. Let's look into this a little deeper. And as you become more and more successful, there will be good guys and bad guys, meaning your friends, etc. Some of them will keep pulling you down, but that's part of the thing. That's the fact of life, right? These are called growing pains. You have to deal with, and as you become more successful, you have to make a deal with the devil, and you deal with it. That's it. Now, what are the resistances you have, right? And where do these resistances come? Resistance in terms of lethargy. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can't do that. So on and so forth, right? See, your old self is because of a part of a brain. That's the lizard brain, right? Now, what is a lizard brain? So we also have like a reptilian brain. So, for instance, if you are walking on the road and you see a small pothole, right? Obviously, you jerk and you pull back your legs, right? Or you stop walking because it senses that there's a danger, you might fall in, and you pull back. So that's the lizard brain. It senses danger. It'll because it wants to stay alive. That's the way it thinks. Now, there's another part of brain that's creative, that's thinking about, the rainbow, life after death, all those things, right? Now, the lizard brain doesn't want. It thinks short term. It wants to survive. It's part of a jungle and ecosystem. It's happy there. It doesn't want to explore other things, etc. Right? So your brain is actually made of these things, and it's always coming from a perspective of fear, right? So, so you need to understand the basics. So for instance, let's look at humanity, right? Did you know that more people die from bike accidents and smoking, bike accidents, I meant road accidents, than any other disease, than cancer, than whatever, right? But if an airplane falls down or whatever, right, you're actually going to be like, oh my God, something catastrophic happened. No, but so that's because bike accidents and technology and these, habits like smoking, it's slowly becomes subconscious, right? So the lizard is actually very comfortable with all these things. It doesn't think of it as fear, right? And that's the harsh reality about technology. I say roads as technology. I say bikes or cars, and etc. All technology, right? So, but more people fear of public speaking, right? So public speaking is actually a very, very difficult thing to get over, or making a video like this, or talking in front of a lot of people. Did you actually hear people dying of public speaking? No, right? So those fears are still left. So there will be many, many such fears and resistances that you have to conquer. You have to shed completely your 1.0 and become a 2.0 for being successful, right? So think about that. Think about that very, very deeply. Your previous or current 1.0 is your biggest enemy. It's not the people around you also. A lot of people will be saying nay. There are lots of naysayers already, but yourself will be the biggest enemy for your 2.0. You must conquer that. There is no way around that. You must. And how do you? So you have to keep also playing around with that lizard brain a little bit. So for instance, go do something which you have never done before. Like just go on a webinar, deliver a webinar. You might be a shy person. You might be a talkative person in real life, but you've never done a webinar or something like that. Just keep pushing that. So Tim Ferriss, the author of 4-Hour Workweek, said some very nice experiment saying, go to a shopping mall and just faint in the shopping mall, right? Lie dead for 3 minutes. It's something crazy, right? Your brain is not going, your lizard part of the brain is not going to accept that, doing that. But if you do that, actually, and he does it. Turns out nobody actually cares. Only a few people came, saw, and then left, right? But no, the result is it's actually a fear that's created in your own mind, right? So 9 on 10 times, it's us stopping us from what you're doing, right? The ego that we have built so much is actually the one, and that we're trying to protect that image so hard. But reality is nobody really cares, right? Keep trying new things. Keep pushing yourself and keep trying new things. Very, very, very important as you shed the old and get into the new. So for instance, let's look at nature, right? So there's a very profound saying. So this is, there are no butterfly experts among caterpillars. So on the left, you can see a caterpillar, and this is metamorphosis, and then there's like a butterfly. So let's look into that a little more, right? So you're a caterpillar, and the caterpillar goes through these different stages. We've all done this, I guess, in biology in high school. Goes to step 1, step 2, step 3. It's a lonely, isolated process, and it becomes completely different, right? It almost is like a new whatever, insect or an animal or whatever. Now, the point here is, when you're a caterpillar, you're amongst only caterpillars, right? And similarly, when you're a butterfly, you're amongst butterflies. A butterfly is never going to go back to a caterpillar. And reciprocally, a caterpillar is never going to come to a butterfly, right? You must also go through that metamorphosis, right? Meaning, you have to shed your caterpillar image right now and get to a butterfly. And there are no experts, like your old friends, the friends you're hanging around with, etc. Many of them, few of them will be good, like I'll vouch for your success. A few of them will be really nice in terms of pushing you, earning you to do the best, but many will not be, right? Shed them. I'm not saying completely cut them off, etc. Suddenly stop picking their calls. I'm just saying be cognizant of that, right? So there are no butterfly experts amongst caterpillars. Very profound saying, very true. And as you climb the ladder, you'll see it's actually getting more and more lonely. Yeah, it's a lonely journey, etc. But it's worth it. It's worth it, right? Like Musk says, there's something inspirational and aspiring. So, and start taking action, right? Enough words, enough this thing. Start taking action. Like a lot of people ask me, hey, how to become, sorry, I'm a data scientist. Should I pick up big data? I mean, I'm like, why don't you actually pick up big data and see for yourself, right? Or a lot of people ask me, hey, you know what? I have a great technology. I have a great tech product. Should I be doing sales? I was like, why don't you just go and do sales and you'll figure it out for yourself? So many people, I saw that it comes from the saying like, okay, I'm not good at something. Never ever say that. Never ever say I'm not good at anything, right? Don't catch yourself saying that sentence. If I'm not good at math, I'm not good at coding, I'm not good at writing, I'm not good at public speaking, I'm not good at sales. It's almost like even before you go into the event, you're actually disabling yourself, right? And the handicap is not real. The handicap is self-infused. No offense to, I'm sure nobody has a disability here, but no offense to them. You are inhibiting yourself, right? Oh, I know only Hindi or Chinese or Spanish or so on and so forth. Can I do this? No. Lots of people, even those people who sort of only know those languages are doing phenomenally well, right? Like they say, where there's a will, there's a way. So do not look for those opportunities that reinforces your previous identity. Yeah, it's very crowded at the bottom. It's lonely at the top. Like imagine the number of people applying for government jobs or military jobs. Military is different example, but that's for service for the nation. Great. But there are tens of lakhs of people applying for that. It's just so crowded. You will keep expending energy, and it's gone. But actually, the number of people at the top is very less. I really know only a handful, like probably 20, 30, or 40 really good AI scientists doing cutting edge work, etc., whom I can also gel with, etc. Similarly for digital marketing, similarly for maybe the crypto world or so on and so forth, right? So don't sell yourself short. So the lizard brain is always trying to do that, right? Fight that instinct. It's like a pebble in the shoe. Keep with it, observe it, don't react to it, observe it. So there are many things you can't control, like your age, right? So for instance, I'm around 35. I know that there are 21-year-olds who are phenomenally more successful than me. And so, you feel like, oh, I should have, those guys are so successful, awesome. Don't worry about all that. That's not something you can control. It's again a pebble in the shoe. Just get rid of that thought. It's okay. What happened before is completely not, your fault or whatever it is. It's fine. Be at peace with it. But what will come ahead is yours, right? That's completely in your destiny, your control. For instance, how many of you guys know this person, Ray Kroc? Can you say on the chat? How many of you have heard of McDonald's? Anybody who's not heard of McDonald's? Right? So, okay, how many of you watched the movie The Founder? Perfect. Yeah. Good. Yeah. So it's a great movie. It's there on all these places, I guess, Amazon Prime or Netflix, whatever. The guy starts, I think I want to say 55 years old. Like he starts McDonald's at 55 years old. The dialogue is one of the most famous dialogues is, I'm severely diabetic. I don't have, I think, one kidney. I think he probably had a stroke. I don't know. But we are at 100 centers in the United States. We'll be making like $2 billion. That's the dialogue. That's the line he says with the president then. Like imagine the amount of, 50 years he kept struggling, and he finally gets that, right? So there'll be so many voices in your head saying one thing or the other thing. My recommendation to you is observe. Do not react to that thought. Like, let's say I have a craving. I'm just making it up. I have a craving right now for a chocolate ice cream, right? Now I can do two things. I can act on it or I can not act on it. I'm saying just observe that feeling. Because feelings will come and pass, right? Just pick up the feeling though. Amongst the myriad of feelings you get, just pick up the feeling and act on the feeling. That's always towards your goal, right? And we're going to be looking at the goal card, like I said, shortly. And also, I frequently found a lot of people, probably it's a cultural thing amongst, or it's a, global phenomenon. Money doesn't bring happiness. A lot of people are going to say money is the root cause of all problems. No, money is good. I'm not saying greed. I'm saying money is good. Liquidity is good. You must have good money, meaning money gotten through the right means, through systems, through correct ways, like paying tax, etc., through legitimate ways, because you can get profits, and profits can be used to make R&D, training, so on and so forth, right? Definitely, I know that money doesn't solve all problems, but money solves the money problems, right, of life. And those are huge in number. Those are a huge source of headaches. Get rid of that, like as in get to that financial freedom as fast as possible. Yeah, we covered, you cannot change the things that you don't control. Like, for instance, people like Stephen Hawking, I'm sure you guys know, he was permanently disabled and all, I guess, very young in life, but he still became a humongous scientist. There are many ways to get things done. So if they can do it, we should be also able to do it. So the other sort of common conundrum is many people chase money. That's a very crass way of doing things. Don't chase money. Instead, chase value, right? Cliched, people understand it, listen to it, but they don't realize the depth of it. Like really try to create value, right? And once you create value, you can capture some amount there, which translates to money, right? So value exchange, right? And you're on the path to becoming rich. You're on the path to attaining freedom and all that. And a lot of people around you will say, oh shit, oh, he's become a different person, so on and so forth. But the reality is you become a different person before you become rich, right? There's a trigger that will switch, that will go on in your head, that should go on in your head. You became rich, you became financially free, or the freedom because you changed yourself, right? Remember the butterfly caterpillar example? Not many people will understand the metamorphosis, right? And it's easy. It's actually very easy to do the metamorphosis. Just be positive, just have a goal, work relentlessly towards that. It's actually more difficult to keep surrounding yourself with negativity, to keep surrounding yourself with through depression, so on and so forth, right? It's actually tougher to clip the wings. So for instance, if you look at bonsai tree, right? If you let it grow, it'll grow like amazingly. But it's more harder to keep cutting it and keeping it in a nice shape, right? So human mind is like that. It's a diamond, right? And yeah, people notice it very much late. So don't worry about people. Crowd, not even people, crowd likes predictable behavior, right? They don't like something unpredictable. It's actually, I'm sure you've seen Dark Knight, etc. The Joker says something very profound to that aspect. People don't mind road accidents, don't mind poverty, lethargy, etc. But suddenly if something happens, they're like, oh my god, something happened. But reality's numbers are different, right? I was also seeing Bill Gates and about his new nuclear startup. He said, yeah, 30 years, there's been no innovation in nuclear technology. And just because we had a Chernobyl, we had 2 or 3 other very big nuclear disasters. The whole world doesn't want nuclear, but that is so stupid, because more people die just by road accidents, at least 1,000 times more than just by nuclear accidents, right? So like for instance, you have, I mean, not you, but everybody has more chances of getting into a road accident on the way to the airport or on the way to the train than actually being inside the train or the flight. But people are actually very scared of the flight or the train or what the case might be. So people think like that. So don't worry about that. And if somebody is going very fast, it's very suspicious because they don't understand. Be positive, have a positive connotation with money. So I also started getting into these mastermind groups. So mastermind groups are like people who also think big. So because once you change, once you become a butterfly, you'll be attracted to those butterfly groups, right? There are new friends there. You will make them. People have gone through the struggles, who made it big, etc. You're the average of the 5 people around you. Surround yourself with really solid people, right? And I was just telling, I think one of you guys, the importance of having mentors as well to that effect. Yeah, one of the other common things I see is we do not celebrate success of others. Like one of the most easy feelings that comes is jealousy. Even I've caught myself, like in WhatsApp or wherever you see some close friend or some friend or some acquaintance at least, getting a small reward or getting maybe a job or a great small success. The business had something up or whatever the case might be. Or this, we don't go and congratulate them, right? You should, because do not be jealous. Jealous is actually a very negative feeling. All of us struggle with that. But like the lizard brain, right? So just keep subjugating it. Envy is a dream killer. If you have negative emotions of someone's success, you will never achieve success for yourself, right? Take it as an inspiration. Okay, that person did the state of success, and believe that it's possible for you also, right? So for instance, even when I was down in the doldrums, I helped some people, either in programming or some marketing or whatever, and they maybe doubled their business, and which is okay. I was at the same time doing the same. But when they grew up, they tried to pull me out, right? So that'll happen. Don't ever pull the other people down. There's abundance. The theory of abundance. The whole world's economy is 28 trillion. 28 trillion. I think it's more than that. So US is 28 trillion. 28. China is, I think, 24. So it's higher than 52 trillion. Okay, that's 10 power 12. You should always jump to help others, right? Jump to help others. Silicon Valley has a great paid forward group. Like for instance, if you want introductions to investors and all, they just do it because they're accruing karma points, right? So you give more, you get more. That's it. Somehow East Coast, New York City is not like that. Wall Street doesn't have that culture, at least yet, or maybe it's changing. They try to like subjugate others or stamp on the others. They believe there's only this much wealth and I need to kill the other person to take my share, right? Don't do that. Keep helping. I'm not saying that you forget about yourself. Like eat your food, but also help the other guys, right? If somebody else is looking for a job, have that proactiveness to do that, right? And somehow these things work. Yeah, I still don't have like there's a meta feeling, but these things help. I feel very good helping others, and it'll come back. It'll come back one day for sure. And another mistake is like I see people also pull some people down, right? So one of the things is the actions we do is something also we believe, right? So if you believe that, so if you pull somebody down, then when your belief will be when you grow up, somebody will pull you down. Enough examples are there. In the interest of time, I'll share it a little later. And I also found people don't ask tough questions, right? They don't ask tough questions because of the view of that event. Like for instance, they think money is like this very bad thing, and if somebody's become very successful, it's almost always negative. I think 9 on 10 times you should not have that. your view should change. There should be a positive connotation. Yeah, there's all kinds of dark money, black money, and all that. We're not talking about that. There are legitimate ways people are making good, healthy, sincerely, passionately money, right? Many people don't even ask the salary or what you're making or business revenue. I always ask straight up, right? It's not because it's not coming off from like arrogance or whatever. I'm genuinely curious. What is he making? What is she making? Is there anything she can do better? I reveal my salary also or business revenue. Keep it very transparent. Why the shyness, coyness? I don't understand. And like I said, if a business is making a lot of profits, it's good, right? Have a positive connotation with that, and then you'll get that back, right? So businesses or individuals, right? If you make more, you have more liquidity, you can experiment more. Remember that life is about experimenting. Keep experimenting, keep experimenting, keep experimenting, right? And experiments cost money. They cost resources, right? You might have to buy one software, or you might have to buy some other hardware, so on and so forth, or you might have to hire interns or staff members or whatever the case might be. Yeah. The next section is about dreaming big. I frequently found, many people dream small. Like almost like the default thing is dreaming small. Don't do that. And many people dream big, but it's a cloud, right? The more specific your dream and the more you write it down, right, much better. Let's say, just making up, let's say you want a Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Like literally, can you write it down for next 90 days or 60 days? I want that, I want that, I want that. And as vividly, as clearly as possible. See, for instance, you will never achieve anything more than your dreams, right? So for instance, if you dream of a job that's paying $80,000 a year, US dollars, or let's say you dream of, you'll never be able to achieve, make the $200,000 job, right? Maybe there is a job waiting for you there. For instance, if you saying in INR, I want a 10 lakh job, you'll never be able to make the 30 lakh job, right? You have to get into the 10 lakh, you have to wait for 10, 20 years, then you'll make it. The amount of hard work you make for getting like in a year is the same for everybody, right? For you, for me, for anybody else. The problem is, like I said, this constant fear of failure. See, of course, if you're dreaming big, you put yourself in a vulnerable position. You're afraid to do it. You do not achieve your dream, you'll be disappointed, etc. And you're afraid that if your dream is too big, then you'll have to work hard to achieve it. All these thoughts keep coming. Like I said, it's okay. Bear with it. Like I said, it's like a pebble in the shoe kind of a feeling. Just deal with it. It's okay. No problem. That discomfort is good. It's healthy. Some discomforts are healthy. You have to keep going. Because if you actually dream big, you will start seeing patterns, right, on how to make things happen. If you don't, it will never happen. Like for instance, I loved teaching, etc., but I never thought I'll make like a proper career out of it or a complete program out of it, right? I just started doing that right now. Because if you're not even looking for something, you'll not even see it's right in there in front of you. So for instance, let me look at these, right? So how many of you, so can each of you tell me what color they can see? Just type really quickly, the first color that comes to your mind. Just the first color that comes to your mind. Guys, come on. I need to see 4 colors. Excellent. I see green, blue, red. So you've seen 3 different colors, right? But obviously, there are several colors here. Now, it's kind of a self-explanatory, like a truism, right? If you focus only on the green ball, you pretty much are going to see only the greens. You'll completely miss out the blues. You'll definitely miss out the yellows and the small few violets that are there, right? And if you focus only on the violets, you're going to miss out on the abundance of blues out there. So really, the mind is also like that, right? If I look small, I'm only going to be looking at smaller opportunities on monster.com or on naukri.com or wherever the case might be, on LinkedIn, with friends, family, etc. I'm going to be lowballing myself, right? If I look for the bigger opportunities, but there should be a start, right? If I look for and earn for the bigger opportunities, then I'm actually looking for something completely different, right? The entire thing changes with the audacity of thought, right? If Musk never dreamt that, oh my God, I need to do, sending to Mars, nobody would have done that, right? Or the manned mission to the moon, so on and so forth, right? So think big. It's okay. It might not work. It's fine. Okay, having high standards. I cannot stress the emphasis about this topic. Do not ever let yourself keep thinking that you're not enough to succeed. It will not happen. So that's again the version 1.0. If something is going in, pulling you in the back, now you'll have, like your accelerator, and you want to put it on the accelerator, but also your handbrake is on, right? Now, what are those handbrakes? You have to understand that. Maybe it's the lizard brain. Figure out what that lizard brain is, right? Genuinely be okay with your past. So I mean, I think this is from one, I've kind of taken it from one famous author, in that he literally went for 6 months. He wrote everything. Like, for instance, when he was a kid, there was a teacher in a school, and he stole something. So this guy, who's 40 years old, goes back, lists all of these things down, and literally goes to the teacher and says, "I'm so sorry, I did that." Did he have to do all that? No, but it's genuinely putting yourself at rest, right? I'm not saying go back to your whatever ex-spouses or ex-bosses and all that. What I'm saying is, at least you should have that in your mindset, right? You should really spin the conversation saying, "Thank you for coming to my life, and because of that, I did this," right? For instance, there was this one guy, one of my friends, who was doing my IIT coaching, and so we are very competitive, and he thought I would sort of never made it. I would never make it, etc. And true to his word, the first time I didn't make it. I got a low rank and all that. But second time, I just did it. And I was very passionate about doing it. But if he hadn't said those things, right, that wouldn't have pushed me, right? So genuinely say that. And the other person might, forgive or not forgive, that's okay. But if you say that, that's fine. It's done, right? So then your version 1.0 will dissolve faster. And you'll transform to the butterfly, which you never knew that you might probably have. Second point I see is, a lot of people like to use low quality products. Yeah. Do not be cheap on your way to success, greatness. If you use low quality products, you will start thinking that others also use low quality products. You will sell low quality products. You'll think low quality. You'll get low quality jobs. You'll get low quality managers. You'll get low quality spouses. You'll get low quality, whatever, everything, right? For instance, so mind also works like that, right? So for instance, if you're like, let me give you a small example. One of my friends, and he was saying, like, "Why do you write long blogs?" I was like, "What do you mean?" And he goes like, I see small blogs. I read small blogs. I don't have too much time. I'm like, whatever. So his mindset is that there are small blogs. He writes small blogs. He reads small blogs. So others don't do those. But he's actually very wrong, right? I read actually a lot of long blogs, long articles. I love reading long articles, being focused on that. And then I write long articles and I attract that quality, right? So similarly, right? If you think about low quality stuff, everything you'll get will be low quality. So even and karma hits you very bad. I'm not saying I've not torrented, I've done all those things. Whenever I have paid for courses, whenever I've done something paid, right, high quality thing, I have 9 or 10 times, like, I've done it really well. If I have I've gotten so many courses for free and all that, I've never even opened them, right? So your mindset is also that. Quality begets quality. It comes from inside you, right? I'm not saying that if you have only little money, go and buy an iPhone. Don't do that. But if you have a budget, try to buy the best product within that budget and cut off the others. So, like, be smart about that. Like, if you're a techie and you have, let's say, limited budget, go buy what's really necessary. And we'll come to that in a little second. Sorry. Like, for instance, buy the best laptop that is there, because you know that you're a techie that's going to be used. Do not buy, great pair of a tuxedo, or do not buy, let's say, I'm just making it a jewelry or a gadget that you might not use, right? Because that's just a frill, and you have to be very disciplined about that, right? The other thing that comes to my mind is many things also compound, right? So for instance, if you had 50,000 rupees, I'm just making it up. Don't go buy something fancy or a gadget. Like I said, some examples I gave you. But if you put it in the stock market or a mutual fund or some crypto, 10-year view, it will start compounding. So think about those things. Think long-term, think high quality. And again, low quality things are a pain, right? You'll be doing a lot of action, etc., but nothing will happen. Attract high quality things. like I said, success begets success, positive begets positive, high quality begets high quality. There's lots and lots of sincere, honest people out there, right? So first off, don't be, cheap. The other slightly not contradictory, but thing is, be frugal, right? I'm not talking to dichotomies. Be frugal. Like if you have to spend, so let's say you get suddenly a lot of money, and a lot of people happen, till 21, 22, they don't get money, and then suddenly they have a lot of money because of jobs, whatever. They don't know how to spend, right? No, have a clear financial plan where you're going to spend, what you're not going to do. If you have to purchase, let's say, I'm just making it up, if you have to purchase a decent phone for $200 or $300, which is about 15,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees, you don't have to purchase a 50,000 rupee phone on EMIs or on loans, etc. Don't do that on credit cards, right? So be frugal, be disciplined, but also buy the best quality products that's required for the job, so on and so forth. Yeah. Again, so have high standards for yourself. Do not cut corners. If you cut corners, then you'll think that other people also cut corners, and you will attract them into your life, right? Like I said, pirated course, so on and so forth. There's some sort of metaphors, like call it karma, call it whatever, it will come back, and Newton's law. Again, pay your team members, your vendors, your maids, whatever, on time, right? If you do that, you'll expect the others also to pay you, right? If you delay, if you do things, then that will become a reflection of your behavior as well, right? Extremely, extremely, extremely important. Like I said, do not be cheap on your way to success. World is an abundant place. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Simple, period. So there's one small test that I would really want you guys to do a little later. So before you transform yourself, you should understand what is you, right? One method is this 16 personalities. I don't know how many of you have taken this. Let's go to this link. So this is a very, very famous test. It's called the MBTI test. There are 16 personality traits. It's a free test. Just go through the test, and then you'll know your personality trait. Maybe I'll reveal my personality trait in the next session. And take the test. Let me know your results as well. We can discuss that. It's a very detailed scientific questionnaire. Lots and lots of people have actually seen, as you can see, more than 1.3 million shares. It's important. I'll tell you why also it's important to know who you are, because you'll know which elements to preserve and which elements to tweak, right? Know thyself. Now, another common recurring pattern I see is a lot of people in negative mindsets, right? So now, what is a positive mindset, and what do you need to do to be in that positive mindset? So you need to be really in a good state of mind to do quality work. You can't be earning for something miraculous like a Google job or funding or making $1 million on crypto or digital marketing, whatever the case might be, doing some in a negative state of mind, right? It just cannot happen. It's actually, it requires a miracle. If you're frustrated or depressed, you can't make work like this. You need to be in a great positive state of mind, think about these things, make high quality slides, etc. Right? And it takes discipline to keep yourself in that positive state, not get swayed by things going around you, etc. You definitely cannot control things that are happening to you, right, around you, but you can control how you react to it. Remember, like I said, always and always observe your feeling, your reaction. Don't act on it, right? It's actually it's a different level of philosophy. It's in Vipassana meditation. The other thing is, if you're in a specific state of mind, you will also attract more things that make you feel the same. So for instance, let's say you woke up in the morning and then you dropped your phone and you're like, oh shit, it's off to a bad day. Then you go to take your car or your bike, whatever, and you're going out, and then there's a small accident or like a hit, and then you start becoming very, very worked up, right? You're like, oh, you're cussing and cussing. So you see the whole day is like a domino, right? Seems like, obviously, bad things beget more bad things, right? There's a kind of a magnetic attraction. It's some things are very rational, some things are beyond us, but I've seen this time and again. So be positive. Just don't react to that. It's okay. It happens. Just have that kind of a smile and then keep going on, right? Because I've seen that. See, you're in this program, in this course. You need a lot of energy. So it's about management of energy, right? If you spend 2 hours being sick and depressed and everything, then that's 2 hours gone. Especially if you do it in the morning. Mornings are like the most important part of your day, right? Many people think they have 8-9 hours in a day. No, you have only 2 hours in a day. The rest is all like just autopilot, etc. Right? So this is a famous 22 emotional states by Abraham and Esther Hicks. So the first one is the highest one, like the joy, appreciation, empowered, freedom, love. You love so many, you have everything, like as in you love your neighbor, even though they could be a douchebag. I mean, but you're in that heightened state of awareness about that, right? You appreciate every day that, okay, you have a roof, you have food to eat, you're alive. That's great. Second state below that is passion. Like you're very passionate about something. Like I'm passionate about teaching, as you might be able to see. 3 is you're enthusiastic. Like, okay, you're enthusiastic about and happy. Like you're enthusiastic about maybe joining a new cricket academy or like, I don't know, karate, so on and so forth. Fourth is positive expectation belief. You have a positive belief. Okay, you know what? I am going to go to the gym and I might have positive results. Fifth is optimism. Optimism is like a positive thought. Oh, okay, today might be a better day than the other. Hopefulness is like, oh, not that great as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but as you can see, we're coming down, right, in that gradient. Hopeful about, okay, tomorrow, state of country might be better. There could be lesser cases, so on and so forth. It's just a hope. It's not a great plan, but it's a feeling, right? 7 is satisfaction, contentment, like after having a good meal or something, that feeling that you have, right? Now, from here, it gets really, really tricky. And this is where you have to pay very good attention. Boredom, like you're indifferent. You keep flickering, Netflix or Amazon Prime, but you're still bored. You're still bored. 9 is pessimism. Pessimism is, it's okay. Every course is like this. It's okay. Every college is like this, or whatever. It's another day. So what will he do? So on and so forth, right? 10 is frustration, impatience, irritation, right? You're very irascible. Like a small thing, let's say your transaction didn't go through, or transaction went through and you didn't get a receipt. You're like, oh shit, that's like really, really frustrating. So as you see, and if you're on the next page, it starts becoming very, very bad. 11 is overwhelming and disappointment. Now we can do a couple of things at once. 11 is like easy to explain. Disappointment is you're disappointed constantly. Doubt is like, that's when you start becoming really murky. Can I do it? Will I be able to do it? Do I have the confidence? So on and so forth. Worry is you're really worried. You're very, very anxious. Oh, I wrote the exam. What if I don't pass? 15 to 20 is really bad. 15 to 22 is very bad. You start blaming others. Oh, damn, I should have had better parents. Oh, damn, why was I born here? That's kind of blaming, right? That's very bad. Discouragement. 16 is not only you discourage others, but yourself, right? You're like, it's okay. What should I do? So on and so forth. 17th is anger. Oh my God, why did he humiliate me? Oh my God, why did she dump me? Or why did he dump me? So on and so forth. 18th is revenge. Oh my God, this is now all kind of almost melodramatic, but it's there. It's cinematic, but it's there. Revenge is like, oh, he shouldn't get so and so. He shouldn't get a promotion. I'll take revenge on that because he did said this. All these are heavy negative feelings. Hatred, rage, self-explanatory. Jealousy, extremely self-explanatory. Do not be jealous. I've told you. Insecurity, guilt, unworthiness. You feel insecure, guilt, unworthiness, and from there, it's like really, fear, grief, depression. You might need to take medication, etc. Next thing is, you might have to, actually, typically, this is where people get into the depression elements. Very severe depression. Depression is of many levels. Grief, despair, powerlessness. What we need to understand is all of us are in some level here, right? On these 22 scale, people are there somewhere. Now, only you know where you are, right? And that's obviously personal. You can't level up completely. So if you're obviously on the positive side, great. That's, keep up that, more power to you. If you're on the negative side, it's okay. It's fine. You can level up slowly, one step at a time. Like, for instance, I'm just making it up. If you are in anger for whatever reason, you can't just go to overwhelming straight away, right? You have to go one step at a time, positive, push yourself. Immediately do whatever it takes to go from these 11 to 22 to go to the next page, right? The first page. Get into the positive frame of mind and work your way all the way. Always constantly be working till 1. That should be your effort, nothing else. It's very, very hard. It takes immense amount of hard work. It takes lots and lots and lots and lots of time, patience, sincerity, passion, but it can be done. And I'll also show a few tricks on how to get it done. But you have to get into that positive frame of mind to do anything. Like I said, the other things are only tools and tactics, and I can keep teaching you so many of them. But if you are in this side of the page and you do it, it's waste, right? And even if God comes, nobody can help you. So try to first understand yourself. What's your personality trait? What's your emotional state? Fuse that and then push forward, right? Aim big. So simple tips to improve your state of mind, right? Start taking walks. Exercise is highly, 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 highly recommended. There are way, obviously, I think it's very scientific that you secrete, higher, I want to say, I forget that chemical, serotonin or something, or dopamines that increase positivity. Feel the sensation in your bare feet, feel nature, etc. We are so glued to this. And one sec, let me just get that noise out. Oh, okay. Everybody's on mute. Sorry. Listen to good music, positive music. Not music that enlightens you. Don't listen to depressing music. Heartbreak songs, etc. Not worth it. Right now, at least not at this time. And as long as once you come to the positivity. Watch TED Talks, watch affirmations. I'm going to be sending you that link to Earl Nightingale twice a day for 90 days. Just do it. No questions asked. Like, wake up in the morning, listen to it first thing. Sleep in the night, sleep to it. Color off all of your Instagrams, other accounts, WhatsApps, etc. See, we're also coming to that a little shortly. Watch only positive movies, good positive movies, right? We're going to be looking at a few of them. Read good positive books. Learn something new. It's okay. You don't have to learn rocket science or something, but some small thing like cooking or whatever. It's very difficult, but do it. Meditate. I cannot stress the emphasis of Vipassana. I'm a big believer of that. Please do that. It's just simply closing your eyes and focusing on your breath. Everybody successful I know does it. Write on your blog, journals, positive stuff only. Play with your pet kid. Don't do nothing. It won't vanish. It's a state of mind. Some people also say it's chemical. Play with your pet or kids. They're always positive. But do something to uplift yourself from negativity. Many people are there like that, like forever. You might have observed your some aunt or uncle or somebody. They're always constantly in that. It's like looming on their head, right? But I feel pitiful about them. They're there like that. Their mindset is like that. But you need not be like that. You can generate that escape velocity and get into that positive state of mind. And coming to the goal card, right? Write your goals, short-term goal and a long-term goal on a piece of paper. I have it in a book. Like I've written it here. It's inside pages. Write your goal properly, like a short-term goal, and write it every day. Literally write it every day. Like make it specific. No more than 200 words. Short-term goal must be 200 words. Long-term goal 200 words. That's it. Just one. Don't do, okay, I want to lose weight. I want to get a great job. I want to make money. No. Something very specific, 200 words, 200 words. Short-term goal should be for the next, whatever, 6 months or 1 year, whatever. Long-term goal is 3 years, right? Where do you see yourself? And literally write it and live with it and breathe it, right? I'll show you mine in the next session. Coming to productivity, extremely important, right? So first is, you can be productive only if you have a state of positivity. Important, very important. You just cannot be very productive. You'll be moving, you'll be doing something and all, but time will go. I've been there also. Time just went, years go by also, doing that. Avoid all distractions. Very important. Put your flight mode on while doing tasks. Have a low information diet, extremely low information diet, right? For instance, I kind of have only like about few apps. I don't know if you guys can see that on your phone. Get rid of notifications and take action on this right now. Like literally have very few apps. Measure that. there is a way to measure, that on smartphone, how much time you're spending on all these places, right? It's appalling. Some people spend 7-8 hours without even their knowledge, but they think they're spending only 2 hours. Impossible. Don't do that. If you're trying to be productive, if you're trying to be a great whatever programmer, marketer, whatever the case, you have to get rid of all of that. Single point focus, super laser focus. Social media, on the other side, you're dealing with a supercomputer, right? Please watch. Netflix has this great show. I forget the name on social media. I'll put the link again, but you can just search it on Google and social media Netflix documentary. Okay, let's do it right now. So, The Social Dilemma. Yeah, The Social Dilemma. Please watch that once, not once, twice. Everybody should watch that. Just introduce it to your friends, family, everybody, right? See, if you're reacting to something, it won't be productive, right? So if you're looking at Instagram, reels, etc., it's all junk food, snacking, nothing. And remember what I told you: if you provide value, if you provide content, world will pay you back. If you're consuming content, you have to pay the world. Okay, and it's very addictive. I know all of us have succumbed to that. Yeah, the best brains, most people in Facebook, Instagram who are working don't use those apps, right? So yeah, please don't do it. Be proactive, right? Map out everything. Chart out your times, your logs, etc. And about your mind. See, the mind works in a very mysterious way. It's great at creative. It's hopeless at repository or storing tasks. For instance, you're running on the road or in a park, you're jogging, and then suddenly a creative idea comes up. That's great. Mind does like 1,000 of those every day. But it's not good to even remember a list of 10 things, right? And I'm sure all of us have 42 or some people even 99 different to-do list items, right? Write it in one place. Just put it all in a chunk of place. Maybe once in 2 days you get to it, like your shopping thing or whatever, laundry and all that. There are a couple of books I recommend: Getting Things Done by David Allen, Deep Works by Cal Newport. Demarcate days where you'll be focused on learning, and some days for creating content, or some days for programming, whatever the case is. Some days for doing all these miscellaneous tasks, etc. Do not multitask. We kid ourselves about multitasking. Oh my God, you look busy, but you're not getting action done. You should have deep focus on deep work. Sometimes, many of these things takes, for instance, programming takes 4-5 hours of non-stop work, and there'll be no outcome. So, there'll be a bug, it won't be sort of resolved, and you'll feel very demotivated. It's okay. That's the lizard brain coming in. Push through it. Yeah, we're coming to the last pieces. I really want us to, focus and be patient. Be extremely patient. So let's look at how patient people should be.
The guard simply didn't notice. Neither did I. I mean, seriously, how often do you really look at a man's shoes? Andy crawled to freedom through 500 yards of shit-smelling foulness I can't even imagine. Or maybe I just don't want to. 500 yards. That's the length of 5 football fields. Just shy of half a mile.
So you know what that scene was? So it's this movie called Shawshank Redemption. It's a great movie. You should watch it right away. Maybe tomorrow, day after, whenever. It's a guy who breaks the prison. And as you've seen, he was wrongly accused of being there in the first place. Actually, he's not the real criminal, but he just somebody just puts him there. It took him 26 years to dig a hole that you see. 26 years, and he chips it away with just, I think, one stone or some pebble. 26 years, right? That's unheard of. So I'm not saying your success is 26 years away, but what I'm trying to say is be extremely, extremely patient, right? Like I said, it's not a 10-year, it's a 10, some Japanese companies get funded for 30 years, 50 years, right? Get out of this instant returns, instant gratification. We're all getting into the world that also puts that, like social media, etc. So, okay, like I said, health, diet, working out puts you in a positive state of mind. Just do 30, 45 minutes. I do like 1 hour of kickboxing. You are what you eat, literally. How many of you watched Game Changers on Netflix? Become vegetarian. I can't emphasize enough about that. I know many of you are non-veg. I was a hardcore non-veg, but not just for environment, but pollution, so on and so forth. The animals that are sort of also bred, etc., in that is very, very bad, right? So if you're also, you must have a bone towards the environment. You must. Don't be oblivious to it, right? I know you're all very busy right now, but be very, very cognizant about that. Do not use sugar. It is addictive. Again, I said, like snacking and all. Don't do that. Long term, long term, long term, long term, long term. Take action, long term, long term. Like in the morning, take juices, etc. That should start your day, right? Literally, there's nothing else. Like people think there's some magic to getting things. No, just do the small, boring, mundane things really, really well. Grow your own food. I know these vertical gardens are coming, etc. That's great, and it's also a good relaxation, right? Nowadays, it's a confinement anyway. Meditate, like I said, I recommend Dhamma, which is Vipassana. Again, it's a 10-day course where you don't have phones, you sleep on the floor and all that, and no speaking to anybody. It's very intense, but there are several other kinds of meditation as well. Measure everything. Like this will be very interesting for you guys, for those of you who are data scientists, etc. Be analytical with everything. Measure your finances. Some of the smartest people I know who are talented don't have a financial plan. It's depressing, actually, depressing. Very bad. It's indiscipline, actually. It's almost criminal if you don't have a financial plan. Have a proper plan where your expenses are going, where your earnings are coming, etc. These are things not taught to us naturally. Maybe some sects have it really well, but some people don't get it right. So I've seen big companies, big individuals collapse because they don't have a great financial planning. They don't have good proper plans. Measure your daily routine, have a daily activity sheet, measure where your time goes, measure where you're wasting time, measure your health levels, HbA, 1C tests, etc. Very, very important. You never know, people are getting juvenile diabetes and all that, vitamin levels, cholesterol levels. Invest in smart scales. Like I said, don't be cheap. Invest in the right things like smart scales, which like a weighing machine that measures your body fat. Most people only have weighing machines, which is a useless thing. Smart, you should also know BMI, like the fat percentage, right? 16%, 21%, all that, or 9%. Smartwatches learn what every data point actually means, right? You cannot improve what you're measuring. Like many people say, oh, I don't spend so much time on smartphone. That's bullshit. Like you tell me, show me the numbers, like literally show me the data. Same thing about your body, your health, your activity, etc. I know almost all successful people I've met know numbers on the tips. They just do not confuse, because you're looking at the dashboard every day. You're looking literally at the dashboard every day, like, right? And perfect, yeah. So let's launch your yourself and launch your life. That's the end of this session. I also have a few homework points which I'll tell in the next session, and the next session's date I'll communicate shortly on WhatsApp. It might be in 2 days, maybe Wednesday. We can have it on Wednesday about some work, and then we'll get straight into the technical aspects, right? So I'm going to be stopping my screen share and the recording, and I can field any questions you might have.